Piers Morgan has come out and a couple of things, but there's a couple of things. One, that he said third place is for losers and just said it's not a winner's mentality. I've forgotten what British athlete this was, but someone got a bronze and he came out and was like, real winners don't celebrate coming third. I think because they were getting emotional and he just like retweeted it and was like, so that was A, and then doubled that up with his commentary on Simone Biles. Anyway, she's pulled out of the Olympics. Obviously, a huge, great hope for America to win a gold in whatever event she was doing. And she's pulled out for mental health reasons, similar to Naomi Osaka, who again, another young American athlete and sports person who stopped doing press because she said it wasn't good for anxiety. And Piers Morgan's come out and said, "You're a loser. You're an absolute. You are weak. You are pathetic, Simone Biles." That's what he's come out and said. You couldn't hack. You literally couldn't hack. I used to hack people's phones. That's how big I was. You couldn't hack fucking nothing, mate. And he's come out and said that. I'm not going to say I have competed at gymnastics to the level that Simone Biles has. But what I will say is we used to have a trampoline in our garden. And I would try and do flips on there. And, it's very similar sport. The thing with it was you had to get over that mental barrier that you were gonna push yourself to land.
Yeah.
Because if you're like halfway in the air and you're like, I'm not going to do this, then it's more dangerous because then you'll sort of tap out and you'll land on your neck or try and land weirdly rather than landing on your feet or on your knees or something. And yeah, like I got pretty good, whatever, like get over it. I could do a front flip. Couldn't do a back flip, but I was close.
Okay.
Which and then when I was doing that, Piers Morgan came into my garden and said, "You are weak." he said, "Do you know who could do a backflip if he wanted to? Cristiano Ronaldo, and that is why he is the best." Yeah.
And you are a loser.
And you are a pathetic loser. And then I said, "Why do you always criticize young black women?" And he immediately walked out and said he's not having it. So who knows? Who knows? And then he said, "You're just like the weatherman." I didn't know what that meant, but and this is probably just what it's gonna be like, and it's not a bad example to set. I don't think if you're having difficulties with your mental health and you feel like that's a danger to your general health, then you should be allowed to take time off.
I think athletes, people have been campaigning for it, and people get behind all these campaigns for mental health and backing mental health. And I'm sure at some point Piers Morgan has probably said he backs mental health. I bet if you go back through all the shit Piers Morgan has at some point he would have been like, yeah, mental health is a problem. Let's deal with it. The issue comes when people are pulling out and it upsets people. And they're like, well, I'm a USA fan and I love USA gymnastics. How could you do this? It's just like, well, you need to accept that, mental health is just like physical health. You wouldn't have a go at her if she had snapped her leg in half, would you?
But he's been brought up in a time where footballers would just get pissed the night before a game, win 1-0 by booting the other team off the park, and then later in life they'd all be gamblers, addicts, and divorced, and that was an elite mentality.
That was a bloody good time. I'll tell you what that was.